Hello, and welcome to Deadly Paranormal Podcast. I'm your host, Tony. In this podcast, I am going to be talking about the paranormal, ghosts, legends, folklore, and supernatural creatures. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show, and thank you for listening. Hello, and welcome to today's episode. I'm going to be talking about doppelgangers. Now, maybe you have heard of them, and if not, then I'm going to try my best to explain them. In fiction and mythology, a doppelganger is often portrayed as a ghostly or paranormal phenomenon, and is usually seen as a harbinger of bad luck. In other traditions and stories, say that a doppelganger is an evil twin. In modern times, the term twin stranger is occasionally used. In paranormal terms, a doppelganger is a ghostly double of a living person. Viewing one's own or a member of the family's doppelganger can portend illness, death, or some other tragedy for that person. A doppelganger may also be a spirit taking on someone's form to cause mischief. Although you may hear the term doppelganger quite frequently, it is when used in conjunction with a paranormal event that it becomes uncommon. The word is commonly used to describe someone that looks similar, behaves similar, or even has the same name. These are just social observations on the likeliness one person may coincidentally have with another. However, when it comes to dealing with a possible ghost, spirit, or demonic doppelganger, it goes from being a casual observation to being an event that could have quite a negative impact on the individual being copied. A doppelganger isn't someone who just resembles you, but is an exact double, right down to the way you walk, act, talk, and dress. A friend, or even a close relative who encounters your doppelganger will swear it was you, even though you can prove you were not in the location the double was sighted. The word doppelganger is a combination of two German words, doppel meaning double and ganger meaning goer, also interpreted as walker. Together they mean double walker, a ghostly copy of a living person. These copies may be non-corporeal or have a physical solid existence. Although the combining of the words to form the term is relatively recent, a little over a century or two old, the idea of a spiritual, ghostly, or demonic double of a living person have existed for millennia. These doubles may at times be seen by others as performing a person's actions before the real person makes them, or they may be a shadow performing the same movements, but after they have happened. They may also be seen in one's reflection. However, the reflection is facing away. Much of the time, a doppelganger is viewed as an omen for a tragedy, illness, or death of the person who is copied. If someone sees their own ghostly double, it generally bodes very badly for them. And a number of quite famous people have had a ghastly experience. Abraham Lincoln was said to have seen his double in a mirror next to his own reflection in 1860, a short time after winning the presidency. The double was gaunt, pale, and appeared to be sickly. Mr. and Mrs. Lincoln were quite superstitious people, and they took the double as an omen of bad luck, that Mr. Lincoln would not see out his second term in office. Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, was assassinated by John Wilkes Booth shortly after beginning his second term in office. Queen Elizabeth I is another person who's seen their doppelganger shortly before death. She entered her bedroom to see herself laying on the bed. She was pale and sickly. Soon after this event, she fell ill and died in that same bed. Sometimes a person's doppelganger will present itself to family members just before death comes. For instance, a son may be critically ill, and before he dies, his doppelganger will present itself to the family. The family will not be aware that this is a doppelganger, though they may be surprised to see their son. But the truth will be revealed when they receive news of their relation's death taking place within days or hours of that event. A doppelganger may also be a mischievous presence, the copy causing mayhem for the copied. They may perform actions that hurt a person, both socially and financially. They may also just stalk and aggravate their original, though through taunting or rarely physical violence. In folklore, doppelgangers have been said to remove the one they have copied, killed, or imprisoned them, so they can live out their lives. This was said to be common with children, a doppelganger being raised in the child's stead. The fate of the real child does not bode well. Sightings and reports of doppelgangers have been around for centuries, and a great deal of superstition has developed around them. Traditionally, they have been viewed as a sinister or evil, or even evil entities. Most often today, however, as reports of doppelgangers show, they seem to be neither sinister nor evil, nor do they herald streaks of bad luck. Although some have been known to cause mischief, they just seem to be going about their business as if they were normal human beings. And perhaps they are. Many reports of doppelgangers are probably causes of mistaken identity, but such an explanation becomes harder to accept when they are seen by best friends, siblings, and parents who know the real person intimately. It seems hard to believe that they would be fooled by another person who simply resembles the original. And how likely is it that they would have the exact same haircut and clothes, as it is so often reported? So, we are creatures of meaning. We can't just look at stuff and accept it. We are trying to explore meaning in things we experience. And if there isn't an inherent meaning, we like to slap one on, especially when it comes to doubles. We'll get into 6 theories associated with doppelgangers in a little bit, but in terms of overview, it is normally pretty grim and is considered to be a bad omen. First of all, well, let me set the scene. It's late at night. You wake up, and your throat is super dry, so you decide to walk to your kitchen and get something to drink. Your eyes are heavy, and you're not trying to open them too much because you won't be able to fall back to sleep. So you ever so slightly crack open the fridge to grab some water and shut the fridge before the light gets into your eyes, making making your chances of sleep slimmer. But then it catches your attention and your eyes widen. Outside your kitchen window, standing underneath the single street light by your house, is your exact replica, a doppelganger. It's wearing your clothes and your face, your favorite t-shirt, even wears your hair the same way you like it too. You can't tell for certain because it's far enough away, but the grave feeling in your stomach is telling you that this doppelganger is staring directly at you. Then it smiles. Not that is always how this phenomenon happens, but it's normally an unsettling experience. Often, they are portrayed as a harbinger of bad news and ill fortune, and sightings of doppelgangers have been reported for centuries. We have some historic ones, and of course, we've got some encounters from the most believable corner of the internet. And I think the internet is interesting here because as you see, we get into the ideas and theories surrounding doppelgangers. It's pretty diverse. From evil to mischievous, which is certainly a strong intent. Then there is the warning sign of them being more like a forbidding omen. This is obviously an intentional, but the doppelganger itself isn't the one doing the evil act, rather a messenger. Then there is completely stripping intent, where it could just be a ripple in our universe or a parallel dimension where this duplicated reality is you and somehow slipped into our reality. Also could be obviously mistaken identity. If it is not you you're seeing, but a friend or a family member's doppelganger. Could it be an attack on the self? Everyone wants to be unique, right? And yes, some are twins. This isn't the idea someone out there looks like you. It's the idea that someone out there is you and could replace you. It almost feels like talking about animals and fighting for the species to go on. Like, are humans so bothered by doppelgangers because it means your value or existence could be in jeopardy? A glitch in the matrix? Or legit other entity? Mistaken identity is possible, but the same clothes, hair, and voice are a little bit more than a coincidence. Neurological. In other cases, seeing your ghostly double could be a sign of a neurological disorder. The BBC reported that a man saw himself standing at the foot of his bed while he himself was still lying in bed. The man who had been experiencing seizures before the vision was so shook that he jumped out a window. He survived this fall and underwent surgery to remove a brain tumor. After that, the seizures and hallucinations stopped. This called the doppelganger effect, where a person may hallucinate that they are actually seeing and interacting with another me, a visual double. So, are you the original or are you the doppelganger? What do you think? Are doppelgangers a neurological disorder signaling that something is wrong with you? Could a doppelganger be an omen trying to inform you of some misfortune coming your way? Or are doppelgangers evil, wanting to do you harm and possibly take over your life. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm curious to see what everyone thinks about these. And until the next one, guys, have a wonderful evening, and I'll catch you in the next story.